Buddy, how are you? It is Thursday evening, and you know what that means. It is time for Janine and Amy's travel experiences going live to you today with our travel show. So I want to make sure that you guys know where you are. That's Janine to I think it's my left, or is it my right? Because it's different now. It's different than what we had before. So that's my cohort, my partner in crime, Janine. I'm Amy, and you have found your way to Janine and Amy's travel experiences. And today we are going to bring you and share with you all of our secret, really not secret, travel hacks on how to beat jet lag drag. So I don't know about you, but I never thought I'd miss jet lag, but I do. But before we get started, I want to start and say hi to my girlfriend Janine. And how you doing today?
Hey, Amy. Yes, and I do miss jet lag. It's crazy. You never think. And I miss being shoved into a teeny tiny little seat next to like hairy, smelly guys in the middle, or having to climb over, gigantic men to try to get to the bathroom. I miss that. I do. But
I miss it very much.
But soon enough. As soon as it's safe, I think everyone, the people will be busting down the doors to get out into the world. Where is it safe to do it again? So that's why we're doing the show, right? So
absolutely
needs to be prepared for sure. But I did want to mention, if people out there viewing, please say hello. Tell us where you're coming in from. If you have questions, you know where to put them in the box below. And if you're a Gen X or a young baby boomer woman who loves to travel, we have an amazing Facebook group for you. It's called Women with Wanderlust Tribe, and it's super fun, and we have a lot of great fun things happening over there. And so I will put the link below. So just pop on over and say hello to us if you want to join.
Absolutely. It's a great group. Well done. Great group of fun-loving, travel-hungry women who just want to share great stories and great tips and funny pictures. Janine and I drop some great information in there every once in a while, and it's just a conversation of a great bunch of women. So if you're interested, head on over, and Janine will give you the link, and we'll get started. So even though we can't travel right now, it's still loads and loads and loads of fun to dream and talk about travel. So that's why Janine and Amy's Travel Experiences Travel Live Show exists, is because we want to share with you our expertise and our world of knowledge of how to travel, where to travel, and bring on great show partners. So today we don't have a guest. We are your guests today because we really want to share some hacks and some travel tips on how to survive the world of travel and jet lag, even though we miss it very, very much. Right. So let's get started. So I have some notes that I keep referring to. So I want to make sure I cover everything. It's really important.
Question, Amy. Let me. So when do you find you get the worst jet lag? Going east or going west?
East.
Yeah, east for sure. I think so too. Yeah. And I think it's worse on flights that are only like 5 or 6 hours, but you're flying overnight.
Yes, absolutely. And most of my hacks are based on that. It's based on going east, such as to Europe. Even our trip to Africa was east. I don't know what it is. So when you go west, and as far as you and I have been to Asia, when you go west, even though the time is upside down by 12 hours, so night is day and day is night, I found it much harder to acclimate coming back home than I did going there. So I say east definitely, because you're right, it's a relatively short flight, but you're 5, 6, 7 hours in time difference. Right. So you arrive local time at 6 or 7 o'clock in the morning. Let's say you're going to London, and it's 6 or 7 o'clock in the morning there, but for us, it's midnight or 1 o'clock in the morning. Mm-hmm. So, and you try to sleep on the plane, and it doesn't always work. So you try desperately to do it. So I do want to say that Janine and I have slightly different takes on a few of the tips. So I'm going to go first and start with And Janine and I both, with our separate businesses, have written blogs, travel blogs specifically to beat jet lag. So hers is a little different, and she has a little bit more details, and mine's a little different with a little different details. So I get to go first tonight, and I get to share. So the first thing I want to say, there's a few just real basic tips that I want to share about, and mine again is all based on going east. So let's say to Europe, so keep Europe in your brain. Most of those flights are going to be overnight, and you're going to have what's called a red-eye flight. So if you have or are planning to head somewhere, and let's say you're meeting a cruise somewhere or a tour, something specific that you have going on, my recommendation is always to arrive a minimum of 24 hours early so that you can acclimate and get caught up on your sleep. I have found that that is the most important thing. So if you're leaving on a cruise on Saturday, arrive either Friday morning, Thursday's even better. And then on the day you arrive, because you'll be arriving really early in the morning, is don't plan anything. Don't plan anything specific that you have to be somewhere at a deadline at a certain time unless it's been a reservation. So that's the first bit of advice.
What's that noise?
I don't know.
Sounds like there's something possessed coming through. Sorry, everyone. I have no idea.
We can't hear it. I can't hear it.
It's a ghost in the machine. So have you ever gotten a hotel room for an extra night, and then because you're landing at 5 a.m.? See, I think that's a good tip. And I know a lot of people don't want to spend the money on that, but you think about it. The last time I went to Ireland, we got there at 5 a.m.
Yep.
That is a long day for a 3 p.m. check-in. That's a long day. So, and I do recommend that to people because especially if you're arriving that early, it's almost a full day that you get. It is.
It's a 24-hour turnaround. If you really, really think about the time difference, and when you left your house to get to the airport, then you had to wait, and then you're on the plane and you had to go through it. It literally is a 24-hour turnaround before you're ever putting your head down or walking into another hotel room.
Right.
So there's two things that you can do. Because that's one of my hacks is to either make sure I always use a travel advisor because we have secret ways. But if you don't, I would get the night before, pay for that extra night. I did that on my last trip to Ireland, as a matter of fact. I just paid for the extra night because I couldn't secure early check-in. And that's because I used a different hotel than I normally do. So I would suggest truly that you get a secure early check-in the instant you get there, which could mean you have to pay an extra night, which is, I'm telling you, it will save your life because you're able to take a shower. You can take a nap, which is what I do, which I'll get to in a minute. And you can change your clothes, you can get freshened up, and then go hit the city and still have a place to put your stuff in and pack and get ready. So absolutely.
And there is something about taking a shower. So Amy, is your volume on?
Yeah.
Something like, is there a phone or something? I can hear
No.
it.
No, nothing.
See, this is live. This is what happens when it's live.
Yeah. I can't hear anything other than you and my own voice.
So, it really makes a big difference taking a shower and changing your clothes. I mean, that can make all the difference in your day in terms of being able to stay awake and keep yourself going, I think.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So arriving early is one of the tips, and then getting plenty of rest before your trip, which is not always easy. At least it's not for me because I get super excited. I'm like a kid on Christmas Eve. Really hard. So I try to get extra hours of sleep before we depart so that I don't already walk in with a sleep debt. So I'm trying to make sure to get plenty of rest before that. And then I try to adjust my schedule according to the time zone I'm going to be in. It can't be a drastic turnaround because I still have, a 13-year-old at home and a husband and a business I'm trying to run. So I try to at least go to bed earlier than I normally do, and wake up earlier than I normally do, just to try to get my body to acclimate. And then try to be on your new schedule. So whatever that new schedule is going to be, make sure that you try to adjust to that. The other thing, when you land, I do it before I land. I have a really cool watch that adjusts to the time that I'm going to. So it's kind of cool. It's a really neat thing, but it looks like an old-fashioned travel watch, but it's actually really all automatic and all gizmo-ish. I got it at Magellans.com if anybody's interested. It's really, really cool. And anyway, so I love it, but it just looks old-fashioned, but it's not. So anyway, so I just set time the instant we're on the plane. So I know exactly what time it's going to be when we get there. And it also will tell me the time that we have at home. So if I'm calling home, I know what time it is there. So stay on your new schedule and set your watch.
And I do that too, because then when you're on the plane, trying to adjust, especially if you have a long flight, like flying to Asia, try to adjust what time it is in Asia.
Oh, so it's brutal.
Even if so we'll fly to Taiwan and the flight leaves New York City at like 1 a.m. to try to stay awake as much as possible. So I'm actually like going to sleep when you might be going to sleep in Asia and eating a meal and all of that. I mean, it's hard. Yes. It's hard. But if you can do it.
Yeah. If you can do it, you're that much further ahead when you land. You really, really are. So the one thing that a lot of experts, and I think, Janine, you believe this, that you should stay awake until that night when you land.
Yes.
I have tried that, and A, it's never worked for me. And B, I'm usually falling flat on my face by 3:00 in the afternoon. So what Tim and I do, and we do this now whenever we travel overseas, any time change, we, especially East, is we will get that secure early check-in or pay for the night before, and we go in our room, take a hot shower, put our cozy jammies on, and we take a nap. We set an alarm. Now, it's brutally difficult to get up because your alarm's set, right? So we'll take a 2 or 3 hour nap, but I'll tell you what, I feel like a brand new person when I wake up, because now it's 11 or noon. If you think about that, because you're landing so early. So it's 11 or noon in the afternoon. Now we're having a good hearty lunch. We're walking the city. We don't have anywhere necessarily to be. And then we plan a dinner that's, appropriate for Europe, especially because they eat really late. And then plan a bedtime for 9 or 10 o'clock at night. And we sleep through the night, and then we're up bright and early next morning to, tackle our day with whatever tours, excursions, or whatever we have planned for that day. I know you do that differently.
Yeah, we'll see. Go to bed like at 7 o'clock at night. That night. So we usually go in and just hardcore and go for the day. And if we do nap, no more than an hour. Like we're very firm with that. But by 7 or 8 o'clock the first night, that's it. We're ready for bed. But then the next day, you're kind of back to normal. The only danger is that sometimes you wake up at like 4 a.m. ready to go. And then you're like, oh man. But that's what we've done. And it seems to work most of the time.
Yeah, we've just made, especially East, we just take a nap. I have just found that it's just easier on us. So some really practical tips I want to share is hydration, 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 hydration. And hydration doesn't mean coffee or alcohol.
Right.
Right. Hydration is water and electrolytes. And it's hydration before you ever go on your trip, while you're sitting at the airport, while you're on your flight, and when you land. I have found there is nothing better than gallons and gallons and gallons of water. And then I use the airborne tabs that you drop in the water that fizz. It gives you electrolytes, it gives you an immunity boost and a whole bunch of vitamins and minerals. And it really, really does help. And hydration, if you're dehydrated, it makes jet lag 10 times harder to deal with.
Oh, yeah.
For sure. Do you agree?
Oh, yeah. I'm obsessed with dehydration. My kids make fun of me because I'm always like, drink. And we like the airborne as well and the emergency. And we have no financial stake in either company, but it just, because they're easy to drink and they taste okay. And that's the big thing, because you do have to get it down. I have started to buy the Noom tablets, which is just, electrolytes and vitamin B and things like that. Then I really like that as well. And whether it helps or not, it takes a little bit better. And although I do like that. But I'm obsessed with that too. And the no drinking, it's very tempting to drink.
Yes.
Because you're killing time at the airport, first of all, and then it's fun. You're going on vacation. You're going on vacation, but it just
you want to party
for sure. You know, so it's tough, and also to watch the caffeine intake because if you're at the airport and it's getting late. I mean, we flew out to Asia one time at 2 a.m. and I am I'm like a 10 p.m.er, so that was hard. And then to not have coffee to try to stay awake because that would have just really been a mistake. So I agree with you about the alcohol.
Yeah. And if you do have a drink, which I have been known time again or two to have a glass of wine or two, just have an extra glass of water in between. That's the only thing I can say is because the extra glass of water will counteract the effects of the alcohol and dehydration. So just know that the hydration is really key. And I know it sounds silly, but it's true. So then the other thing too is if you're traveling on an overnight flight and whatever the time is going to be when you get there is try to sleep on the plane, which can be challenging.
Right.
So earplugs, eye patches, headphones, the neck pillow, a blanket, travel socks, which are really cool. You can't walk around the flight with just socks on, so they make travel socks that your feet goes in. I know,
don't do that.
But they make travel socks that are super cozy and comfy. And then, of course, always wear something comfortable on the plane. Whatever's comfy for you, and whatever's going to make sure that you wake up the next morning and put on your lipstick and brush your hair.
Right. Well, right. So a lot of people will go, and if you feel like you need to go see your doctor about getting prescription, you should do that. But word to the wise, make sure the flight is long enough. Because you have I've actually, my husband will take a sleeping pill when we go to Asia, but I never have. But that's an 18-hour flight or 16-hour flight, right? So I've seen people, I was actually on a flight to Los Angeles. I'll never forget this. So we get on, it's late. The woman in front of me, I hear her say to her friend, I just took my sleeping pill to fly to Los Angeles. No lie. 2 seconds later, they get on and ask us to get off the plane. There's a delay. It was not just a little delay. Something had happened in Los Angeles. So we were there for hours and she had just taken her sleeping pill.
Oh, no.
Oh my God. So just word to the wise, just be aware of what's happening, and make sure that you can get enough sleep if you take a sleeping pill. That's my recommendation. Because you have that funny scene in Bridesmaids where everyone gets tackled because she's all, but I've read that. I've seen actual stories from reporters who've taken what pill is it that makes people walk in the sleep?
I can see their ad. It's a butterfly. It'll come to me.
But they've gone up during the flight and done
Ambien. Yep.
Gone up and done crazy things during the flight. So that would be fun.
Yeah, it does work for some people on those really long haul flights. We have friends of ours who do it, and they swear by it. I take melatonin on those long, but that's going to be the end of it. I'm afraid I'm going to get up and start sleepwalking and doing something crazy.
Well, that's my big fear too, because I've never taken one before. I'm like, I don't think that flying is the best time to try it for the first time.
Yeah, I know. I want to run a trial run.
I wake up in jail somewhere because they had to land the plane because I'm like, So.
That's a really good point, actually. It's a really, really good point. That's awesome. The other thing, too, I would suggest, and this is certainly not feasible for everybody, and I get it, but one of the things that I have found, especially on super long overnight flights, is to get a business class or better seat if you can. And the reason for that is they lie flat seats. And you have a little cocoon that you're in, and the difference between that and trying to sit up and sit back and sleep is, to me, worth every penny. But I understand that that's not in everybody's financial budget, and that's cool. So the other thing I would suggest then is at least try to upgrade to a premium economy or extra legroom seat that you can at least spread out a little bit. It does give you an extra few inches to lie back as well as for your feet. And you get a few extra perks in there as well. So if you can't do business class or first class on those super long flights, which is truly a lifesaver, then please get bumped up, spend the money, purchase the ticket, and get a premium economy if it's available. And I know some airlines, Qatar and Emirates, they don't have that option, but their economy seats are like some airlines first class. It's really an amazing product that they have, truly. So it's an amazing product if that's what you have to fly. So just so you know.
Yeah. The exit row.
Yes.
You can pay a little bit of extra money and get the exit row, so there are ways to get extra leg room. And if you go to Seat Guru, I don't know if you've ever used that, you can see the configuration of every single plane that's in the air. So as you're picking out a seat, you can take a look and see how much leg room there is, what's the pitch, which if people don't know what this is, that's the amount of room between you and the seat in front of you. So a lot of the airlines, the pitch is really small now. That's why if people put their seat back, they end up in your lap.
Yeah.
But there's a way to look at that. So if you know, you can look by airline and by the type of plane. So that might help too.
Absolutely. Good one. Good one. It's what's it called again? Seat Guru?
Yes, I'll put it in below.
Yeah, I have used that before, mainly for my own travels, but yeah, absolutely. That's perfect. Okay, good. All right. So what other tips do you have, Janine, that were different than or more than what I've already added?
Well, we have a lot of more tips. I think really the only thing the big one is because we do fly to Asia, I try to skip movies and things like that, give myself a break before I try to go to sleep, because science shows that the light keeps you awake. Yeah. So I know it's hard because it's boring as anything, but if you can take just a little period of time, or turn down the light on your laptop, or even I've never used the yellow glasses, but supposedly they work too. That you can to block the light, the
blue light,
the blue light. But so I do try to take a little bit of a break before doing that, and then so this isn't exactly to beat the jet lag, but when I'm planning a flight, I really make an effort to make sure that it's the most efficient flight.
Yes.
That I get there the fastest, because when you look for flights, you can look to see how long it takes to get there. So, and not just in the air, but that includes your layovers and everything else. So, keep in mind, if you have a big layover and it's already overnight, I mean, it really taxes your body. So just try to be strategic as much as you can when you're planning your flights. And other than that, I think we have a lot the same. I do believe in snacks as well.
Yeah.
I'm big on snacks because, protein, carbohydrates make you sleepy, which could help when you get on the plane. But protein, helps wakes you up a little bit. So bringing nuts, like healthy snacks, not a ton of sugar and things like that will tax your body. So I believe in water and snacks, and then I'm good to go. So I think those are some good tips for everyone. It
absolutely is. Absolutely. I mean, you will have jet lag. It's just how it is. And especially if you have a massive time change. But following some of these tips and really taking care of yourself and your body before, during, and after you arrive will make a huge difference in how you feel that jet lag and how you adjust quickly or slowly to the time change and your new environment.
Right.
So any questions or anything, Janine, from our friends and followers, anything at all that we should need to answer? Okay, very good. If you have any, though, drop them in the comments. We'll be glad to answer them as we see that best we can. We also have a whole bunch of links that we're going to share with you on what it's going to, hopefully that'll help and give you some tips. So here we go with what's going to happen over the next few weeks with Janine and Amy's travel experiences, and more importantly, our travel show. So next week is Thanksgiving. I hope everybody's getting excited for the holidays. I am. It's going to look way different for my family this year. I'm sure it will for everyone else's, what the holidays are going to look like, and especially Thanksgiving. So next week's Thanksgiving, and Janine and I are obviously going to take the day off. We'll post some what's the word? Some replays, I guess, for lack of a better word, right? So we'll post some.
A classic Janine and Amy. That's what we'll do.
Classic. Because we've been on the air for a while now, so there could be some classic shows out there. So we'll post some of those up there and just bring them back to life. And if you guys are missing us, which I'm sure you are desperately missing us, so we'll make sure that you guys have something to watch next Thursday. And we certainly hope everybody has a safe, wonderful, and delicious Thanksgiving holiday. The weekend after that, or the week after that, I am actually going to be in Cancun, Mexico with my daughter. So we're going to have our show on Thursday at 6 o'clock. And Janine is the host on that one. And I'm going to be coming to you, hopefully, fingers crossed that technology works in my favor. I'll be coming to you live from Mexico and sharing with you my experience on the airplane, in the airport, at the resort. I'm staying at Club Med with my daughter Molly. So you might get to see her beautiful face. And so that'll be that show. Then the following week, on the 10th of December, we have our friend John Reese, who is definitely a points guru, who's going to help us with our mileage and how to use all our miles and credit card points and all that, and how to get the best thing for our buck. And then on the 17th, we're going to take you on the iconic Christmas markets in Europe with our good friend Kathy Brock from AMA Waterways. And then we are taking Christmas Eve and New Year's Eve off. That's going to be our holiday time for sure. And we will be coming back to you on January 7th January 7th is when we will see you again. And again, like Janine said, make sure that you join our private Facebook group if you're a Gen X woman or young baby boomer, and that enjoys travel, is fun-loving, supportive, kind, all those kinds of things that women can be. Make sure you head on over. It's called Women of Wanderlust. I can't. Oh my God, I call us Wanderlusters, and now I'm forgetting the name of it. What is it? The Wanderlust?
Wanderlust Tribe.
That's it. Women with Wanderlust.
We really do know what it's called. We do.
That's right. I do. Women of Wanderlust Tribe. Absolutely. So what about you, Janine?
Well, thanks everybody for coming. We really appreciate you. And really, when we say Thanksgiving, we're thankful for you and everyone who has supported us during this really wild year, for sure. And you know what? We can't wait to travel again, and we will soon. But until we do, keep dreaming about travel and finding joy close to home. Thanks, everybody. Good night.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving.